Bled by Lars Saabye Christensen, Jack by Ulf Lundell, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Last Exit to Brooklyn by Hubert Selby Jr., Novel with Cocaine by M. Agayev, Colossus by Finn Alness, Lasso Round the Moon by Agnar Mikle, The History of Bestiality Trilogy by Jens Bjørneboe, Gentleman by Claes Ostergren, Icarus by Axel Jensen, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, Humle Hjertene by Ulla Bauer, and Post Office by Charles Bukowski. Books about young men who struggled to fit into society, who wanted more from life than routines, more from life than a family. In short, young men who hated middle-class values and sought freedom. They traveled, they got drunk, they read and they dreamed about their life's great passion or writing the great novel. Everything they wanted, I wanted too. The great longing, which was ever present in my breast, was dispelled when I read these books, only to return with tenfold strength the moment I put them down. It had been like that all the way through my latter years at school. I hated all authority, was an opponent of the whole bloody streamlined society I'd grown up in, with its bourgeois values and materialistic view of humanity. I despised what I had learned at Gymnase, even the stuff about literature. All I needed to know, all true knowledge, the only really essential knowledge, was to be found in the books I read and the music I listened to. I wasn't interested in money or status symbols. I knew that the essential value in life lay elsewhere. I didn't want to study, had no wish to receive an education at a conventional institution like a university. I wanted to travel down through Europe, sleep on beaches, in cheap hotels, or at the homes of friends I made on the way, take odd jobs to survive, wash plates at hotels, load or unload boats, pick oranges. That spring, I had bought a book containing lists of every conceivable and inconceivable kind of job you could get in various European countries. But all of this was to culminate in a novel. I would sit writing in a Spanish village, go to Pamplona and run the bulls, continue on down to Greece and sit writing on one of the islands, and then after a year or two, return to Norway with a novel in my rucksack. That was the plan. That was why I didn't do my military service when Gymnase was over, like so many of my school friends had done, nor did I enroll at university as the rest had done. Instead, I went to the employment office in Kristiansand and asked for a list of all the teaching vacancies in northern Norway. "Hear you're going to be a teacher, Karl Ove," people I met at the end of summer said. "No," I answered. "I'm going to be a writer. But I have to have something to live off in the meantime. I'll work up there for a year, put some money aside, and then travel down through Europe." This was no longer an idea in my head, but the reality I was in. Tomorrow I would go to the harbor in Tromsø, catch the express boat to Finnsnes, and then the bus south to the tiny village of Hofjord, where the school caterer would be waiting to welcome me. No, I couldn't sleep. I took the half bottle of whiskey from my suitcase, fetched a glass from the bathroom, poured, drew the curtain aside, and took a first shivering sip as I gazed at the strangely light housing estate outside. When I woke at 10ish the following morning, my nerves were gone. I packed my things, rang for a taxi from the payphone in reception, stood outside with my suitcases at my feet, and smoked as I waited. This was the first time in my life I'd traveled anywhere without having to return. There was no home to return to. Mum had sold our house and moved to Fjørde. Dad lived with his new wife further north in northern Norway. Yngve lived in Bergen. And as for me, I was on my way to a first flat of my own. There I would have my own job and earn my own money. For the very first time, I had control of all the elements in my life. Oh, how bloody fantastic it felt. The taxi came up the hill. I threw the cigarette end to the ground, trod on it, and placed the cases in the boot, which the driver, a plump elderly man with white hair and a gold necklace, had opened for me. "The harbor, please," I said, getting in at the back. "Harbor's big," he said, turning to me. "I'm going to Finnsnes on the express boat." "We can fix that for you, no problem." He set off downhill. "Are you going to the Gymnase there?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm going on to..."